Hey, Curtis,
Hey Oz.
what do you got for us this week?
Hey Oz, this week we got Wednesday
Mm.
crossed with The Witches, plus some What We Do in the Shadows
Okay.
meets Street Fighter. Kid. This week we're talking about the Addams Family.
Street Fighter. I don't mind that movie.
Really? I've never seen it from beginning to end.
It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. But
It's fun bad.
yes, it's like you're making a movie about a game with zero plot.
Yeah.
Like, it's so again, like we've talked a little bit pre-show, it's about the characters, and so
Oh, yeah.
it's just dumb fun.
Well, and we're gonna cast that classic American actor Jean-Claude Van Damme as
Exactly.
Guile.
Yeah, and they do a great job of making everyone look like the character. I mean,
Sure.
they do a great job.
Sure,
Like,
yeah. Costuming's not bad.
No, but it's like, let's make this movie, and the only thing that's going to make this movie work is Raul Julia. Like,
Uh-huh.
and he absolutely does. It's like,
Oh yeah,
put
yeah.
him in
Raul
there.
Julia's great at it. Everybody
Let's
else
put him
is
in
terrible.
there and make sure we've got a craft table full of scenery to chew.
Uh-huh.
And he will, yeah. Like, let's take a break and get some food. I'm good, everybody.
I'm full. I'm full on scenery.
Right. I've been chewing the plot. So, welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk About Flicks, the weekly podcast where we take a monthly theme and we're wrapping up the theme this
We
month.
are.
We're coming to an end of July, and our theme this month is good movies based on TV shows.
Yes.
And,
As opposed to the June theme, which was bad movies
movies.
based on TV shows.
and we will reveal August theme at the end of this episode. But first, we do want to give a shout out to our Patreon subscribers, Don S., Aaron A., and Mandy K. Thank you again for your patronage.
Yes. Thank you times 3.
Yeah, I think I say their names more than I say the names of my own children.
One of our Patreons spilled to me the other day that the Lyle has been contemplating signing up, but he's not sure how. So,
Oh. Well, click the link down below
yes.
and follow the
To
prompts.
follow the instructions.
Yes. I'd love to get the Lyle on board.
Yes.
I'd love to get the Lyle on the show.
We also had a possible suggestion. Yeah, that would be amazing as well. We also had a possible suggestion of Patreon member month, where we just let
yeah.
the Patreons pick the themes,
I like that.
pick the movies. I should say.
Yeah, I love that idea.
Patreon's choice.
Yeah, I love that idea. And if they want to join us on said episode,
Sure.
that
Yeah,
would
that'd
be
be
great,
great.
too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. I like that idea. I'll have to
Uh-huh.
get that down. I'm going to add that to monthly topics right now. So, yeah, we're looking at the Addams Family. And
1991 Barry Sonnenfeld opus.
are you a Barry Sonnenfeld fan?
Yeah, I mean, he came up with the Coens, so I mean, you can't hate him for that. I think he's kind of hit or miss
Yeah.
as far as like his work behind the camera. I mean, the Addams Family's fun.
Yeah.
And then there's like Get Shorty, and then Men in Black, and
Yeah, that's
then
okay.
well,
Yeah, I
and
feel like he's...
and then Wicked Wild.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Wild Wild
He,
West.
I think Barry Sonnenfeld has a range of what he's capable of, and he stays within that range. Like,
Yes.
it's not one of those where you can tell when you're watching a Barry Sonnenfeld movie, but if they revealed at the end who directed it, and you're like, that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
Unlike a Spielberg or a Cohen, where it's like you'd watch it and be like, wow, this is a great film. It doesn't surprise me they made it, but
Yeah.
it doesn't like fit a mold. I feel like Sonnenfeld's movies fit a little bit of a mold, which is okay. They're fun. It wouldn't surprise me, and I don't know who directed the Night at the Museum movies, but
That was Sean Levy, the guy.
Okay.
He's good buddies with Ryan Reynolds.
okay. But like that feels like, had they made that a little earlier, it would have been like a Barry Sonnenfeld.
Yeah, that's a good comp.
Yeah, just real safe and
Yeah, kind of sanitized.
yeah. So I have the or the casting this month.
Yes, you got the
So,
characters. I got the plot. So who was in the Addams Family, the
Um,
titular Addams Family?
let's see. You've got the Addams Family.
You don't say.
Yeah. So you are looking at Gomez and Morticia Adams. What I love about the Addams Family, and I'm assuming that this come after the Munsters. Was the Munsters first?
In the 60s, I honestly don't remember.
I'm thinking the Munsters may have come first, but either way, this one of them is a rip off of the other.
Yeah.
And so, what I really like about the dynamic of the two families, the Munsters or the Adamses, is I'd like to see the backstory on how they got so many like horror lore characters together.
According to the Internet Movie Database, they both debuted in 1964.
Okay. Okay. So fair enough. But I would love to see like how did this nuclear family consist of, a vampire and a witch and grandma. Even though I know the term gypsy's a little
dated,
cringy now, but
Yeah.
but it's like how do they get them all together? But anyway, you've got Gomez and Morticia Adams played just beautifully by Raul Julia.
Oh my god, two amazing performances.
Yeah, like these two carry this film. Like,
Oh yeah, they were born to play these
right.
roles.
I would put Christina Ricci's Wednesday Addams on there as well. I think
She was great.
Yeah,
child actor performance.
perfect Wednesday Addams. So the other Adams is you've got Jimmy Workman as Pugsley Adams, who he's fine. Like,
Sure, he's there.
yeah,
They don't ask him to do too much, and that's a-okay.
But that's how the show was as well. Like
Yeah.
the Pugsley Adams is just like the punching bag of Wednesday. And you've got Christopher Lloyd playing Uncle Fester / Gordon.
Uncle quote-unquote Fester.
Yeah. And you've got Judith Molina as it says here, as Grandmama. Larry Johnson was unavailable.
Yes, yeah, Larry Johnson was there.
You got Carol.
Around the same time as well.
It was,
It was like 91, 92 was Larry Johnson's grandmama character.
Yeah, you've got Carol Stroiken as Lurch. Christopher Hart as the Thing, which just his hand.
Yeah.
And then at the end at the ball, they've got Cousin It showing up, which is a very minor role, but Cousin It is a fan favorite of the show.
Yeah.
Played by John Franklin. So there's your Adamses. You have other characters in the movie that are just there for the plot, like whatever.
Yeah.
You've got Christopher. You've got quote unquote Fester,
Yes.
Gordon's mom, Elizabeth Wilson, playing Abigail Craven. She's also playing Dr. Something Something.
Yes, doctor whatever. Doctor psychiatrist.
You got Dan Hedaya,
I love Dan Hedaya.
like Commando's own Dan Hedaya,
Uh-huh.
playing Tully Alfred, which is funny because Sully. That was Sully in that.
Sully. It went from Sully to Tully.
Yeah. You got
Hey, Tully.
you got Dana Ivey as his wife, Margaret. Then you got Paul Benedict playing the judge that lives next door, and
Yeah.
then you just have other people, like whatever.
Sure.
You got a Girl Scout, and you got Sally Jesse Raphael, and but it's really you've got the Adamses and then
Everyone else.
tertiary characters.
Yeah.
Dan Hedaya-
It is called The Addams Family, not
Exactly.
not the tertiary character.
Right, it'd be a different movie. But that's it. What do you got for plot?
Well, as far as a plot goes, again, 1991 Barry Sonnenfeld movie. We open on Christmas carolers singing "Deck the Halls."
I love this opening.
Yeah, outside of the Addams home, and above them on the roof is the family Lurch and the grandmother. They hold a hot cauldron of something over the singers as they're about to dump it, and then you cue the theme song.
Yeah.
Just fun, super fun little.
Oh yeah, this is like the first 30 seconds you see exactly what this family is.
Yes. Yeah, just they're dark. They live for like
Yep.
torture, and everything's macabre and grim.
Exactly. Gothic and
Yes. So after the theme song's done, the thing scurries across the floor, stops by Gomez. Gomez expositions. They've been trying to contact Fester for 25 years. So there's the through line right there.
right there. Yeah.
I kind of roll my eyes a little bit, at these moments when characters just basically exposition things.
Right.
Oh, I'm so in the dumps for missing Fester for 25 years. I wish we didn't have that falling out 25 years ago.
You're like, well, yeah, and 25 years seemed like a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to watch Gomez, like it's almost like he only gets down in the dumps like this when he's by himself, because obviously whenever Morticia's around, he's
Tish.
yeah,
Tish.
he's ready to go. Like, but
God, I love their relationship,
I know,
which is going to come back up at the end.
I do too. But it's just so like, 25 years. Like, I'm like, I admire that you're still looking, but I'm like,
yeah,
like
it's like
25 years.
It's like the guilty dream sequence in A Christmas Story when
Yeah.
Ralphie comes home with soap poisoning. He's blind, soap poisoning, and then the mom is like, "Oh,
Darren McGavin's like,
yeah,
oh, what did we do?
oh, we should have used Light Boy." Soap
And then
poisoning.
he winks at the camera.
Yeah. But yeah, it's very similar to this, and Gomez is like, "Whoa,
I
Fester,
know.
25 years."
Oh, no one's gonna know what the plot of this movie is if I don't tell them right now.
If I don't, 25 years and no Fester. We get to know some of the other family members here early on, Oz. In the kids' room, Wednesday fires an arrow at a tied-up Pugsley with an apple in his mouth.
In his mouth.
Yes, in his mouth. And again, I was taking notes for this. I didn't even take down half of the bits that they did, just because there were
there's
so
many.
many things going on. The hopeless romantic Gomez asks Morticia if she is unhappy, and she smiles demurely and says, "Completely." Gomez, last night you were a desperate howling demon. Do it again. It's just, I love these lines in the back and forth between them. Gomez hits golf balls, as you kind of mentioned before, off of a ledge. The thing, of course, is holding the golf balls,
Right,
which is a great little sight gag. And the golf balls, of course, are breaking the neighbor's window, like the aforementioned judge.
Going into those Fruit Loops.
Yeah. As they're yeah, exactly. As they're said Morticia's cutting the heads off the roses in their garden. She says to Gomez, who's again mourning Fester because that's what he does.
Yeah.
Don't torture yourself, Gomez. That's my job.
It is.
Yeah, it really lays it on thick, but I can't get enough of the two of them going back
like
and forth.
their performances, just like it just they're just great performances out of these two.
Yeah.
I mean, the chemistry between these two is so good anyway
Yeah.
that these like really cheesy line deliveries work.
It just works.
Yeah.
It works even though it's like ugh. In a lesser movie, you'd oh god.
Exactly.
But yeah, these two, they just sell it so well.
Yeah.
Thus why it's in good movies based
Yeah.
on TV shows. Tully, the family lawyer, played by the aforementioned Dan Hedaya. The hairiest man alive, Dan Hedaya.
Yeah, apparently he's not a dictator anymore.
Yeah, no, he's done.
He's just a lawyer.
One of my favorite Dan Hedaya roles. A couple years ago, former Patreon subscriber Melissa L and I were watching old episodes of Cheers.
Uh-huh.
And he plays Rhea Perlman's or Carla's ex-husband.
Oh,
They have
yeah.
like several kids together, and every season he would show up for an episode and try to like woo her and bring her back. And it was just hysterical watching
Right.
Dan Hedaya and Rhea Perlman go back and forth. So Tully, the family lawyer, and Margaret, his wife, arrived to talk about an upcoming charity auction as well as to take care of this month's expenses because that's what he does. Tully and Gomez immediately engage in a sword fight.
Yeah.
Because that's
Dirty
what they
pool, old man.
Yes, dirty pool. Because that's what they do. And,
Yeah.
and again, Tully is not surprised that this happens.
No,
not-
he's almost prepared.
Yeah, he just goes with the bit. just to indicate how commonplace it is. I love at the end of it, Gomez does 3 backflips and a round-off to catch a pen and a sword in each hand at his desk.
He just has that Raul Julia look on his face when he does it. Like, aha!
Tully watches Gomez go into a secret chamber to go into the family treasury to get money for the family's monthly expenses. So
he just gives him gold.
Yeah, it's like gold coins is all it is. They plan to hold a seance for Fester that evening, and Morticia, of course, invites them because apparently they're the only friends they have outside of the home.
Right.
Back at Tully's office, Abigail Craven and her adopted son Gordon wait for him because Tully owes her money. Tully says, I'm trying to get the Addams money, but I just can't. And then Tully notices that Gordon looks just like Fester Addams. Tully then expositions that Fester's been missing for 25 years.
Right.
And Gomez had a fight, feels guilty, so they put the plans into place, Oz. Gordon is going to impersonate Fester so that they can try to get into the family's loot.
Yeah.
So that's basically the whole driving plot.
Yeah.
So back at the Addams, they prepare for the seance. Wednesday and Pugsley play with a metal antenna during a lightning storm.
I just laugh.
Yeah.
That was so much fun.
That reminds me of a Simpsons bit. It's the softball episode where Homer had carved Wonder Bat out of a tree in his backyard that was struck by lightning. So he's recounting the tale to it was to Lenny and Carl as to how he came up with Wonder Bat. It's like, I locked myself out of the house during a terrible rainstorm. I covered myself with a large piece of sheet metal and hid under the tallest tree I could find. I don't know why that brought me back to there, but whatever. It's our podcast, not yours, folks.
Exactly, yeah. If you don't like it, leave.
Yeah.
Stick around.
So Grandmama Larry Johnson is leading the seance.
Exactly.
Former Charlotte Hornet forward Larry Johnson is leading the seance. And she requests that Fester knock on the door 3 times. And we hear 3 knocks on the door. Fester's back, folks. He's joined by Abigail in character as a German psychiatrist
Dr. Greta Penderschloss.
who works for the Florida Human Services.
Yeah.
And says Fester was found in a tuna net in the Bermuda Triangle. Later, Fester, they get him settled into his home. Welcome back, Fester. Everybody's so glad to see him. Fester, quote unquote, gets settled into his house, looks out of his door, and Wednesday is just there staring at him.
Mm-hmm.
Just standing there. Deadpan look on her face, no blinking. She's just staring at him. So she knows something's up. In the morning, Fester, quote unquote, says he slept well, unlike before, and Wednesday questions it. Later on, Oz, Gomez brings Fester/Gordon to the vault. Fester discovers the money room, while Gomez looks through old film reels from their youth. Go ahead.
How far away is this vault?
I know. They get down. They go down a series of slides.
Yeah,
like super happy fun slides.
Yeah, exactly. And almost like you were expecting them to drop off into the Running Man.
Yeah. It's time to start running.
But then they get on a gondola and ride that for a while.
Gomez puts on the hat. That was my favorite part of the whole sequence. Gomez puts on the gondola driver hat.
It's time. but it's like then they're in like the catacombs. Like they've got a big home. Don't get me wrong, but they're like on this gondola ride for quite a while.
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
it's like how far, like how much underground do the Addamses own, and how far away is this vault?
It's like Monty Python and the Holy Grail when they have to go on that boat.
Yeah.
It's just it's very extensive.
But it's fun, like whatever. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. Like Gomez putting on that hat is just...
Yeah, that's my favorite part of that sequence is he stops to put on the hat.
He sings the entire way.
Gomez apologizes to Fester for wooing twin sisters Flora and Fauna in their youth. It turns out that this falling out was because Gomez was jealous of Fester because Fester was the ladies' man
Yeah.
And not to be too judgmental, but given how Fester looks and how Gomez looks.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I've always enjoyed the name Fester. Like,
It's a great name, yeah.
as a verb, it is not something one wants to do.
Yeah.
but as a name, it's like, oh, that fits perfectly.
It is. It's great. Gomez proceeds to put Fester in a headlock, and he can't remember their secret password, so Gomez starts to doubt things here,
Yeah.
Oz. So kind of like Wednesday, there's already
Exactly.
some doubt here. Is this the real, authentic Fester? As Morticia prepares to leave for the auction, Wednesday speculates to Pugsley that Fester is not the real Fester. In the meantime, Wednesday straps Pugsley to an electric chair, which,
Right.
again, yeah, just fun.
To which Morticia says, "We don't have time," and then, Pugsley's begging, "Please."
Yeah. And I think she actually does flip the
Yeah,
switch.
she lets him. Yeah,
and,
okay.
and Christina Ricci gives this great, like just demonic look.
Oh yeah, she was so great in this role.
At the auction, Gomez and Morticia they donated
Finger
this
trap.
like Eastern Asian inspired finger trap, and they end up outbidding each other as they escalate their own romantic tensions and end up
Oh my gosh, yeah,
just making out there in front of hundreds of people at this charity
they
auction.
donated to auction and then end up buying it for $50,000.
Yeah, just because they've turned each other on, and that's how things escalate.
Yeah, the judge started the bidding at 5,000, to which Gomez thought that was too low, so then he bid 15,000,
Yeah.
and then Morticia, they just kept bidding against each other for something that was already theirs.
Later on, back at home, Gomez screams that Fester is an imposter, Oz. That is not my brother. That is not the real Fester. However, the psychiatrist convinces Gomez that he is displacing his feelings of resentment onto Fester. Because that's how mental health works.
As Gomez is playing with his trains,
Yeah.
which there is a little scene that I got a kick out of, and I've always enjoyed it. Like, he's playing with his trains. Everybody in the house, it's shaking the house.
Yeah, I love that sequence.
Everybody in the house is aware that he's playing with his trains and are like, "Uh-oh, like Dad's playing with his trains again."
Yeah, it's like the only thing that scares them.
Right.
The only time they're ever genuinely afraid.
There's one quick little like shot of like the inside of this train.
Yeah, the guy.
It's director Barry Sonnenfeld.
Yeah.
But there's a guy in the train reading the paper, and as it drives by Gomez's face, and he's just so dynamic.
Yeah.
It's like, how did they get that guy in the train? Like, do they have this little guy, or is Gomez like, is his thing is he's like a giant, like, and he's playing with real trains? Because we've seen how big their gondola ride to the
Yeah.
He very well could be having two full-sized locomotives in his basement.
Yes, the train sequence is incredibly fun.
It is
In the meantime, Fester is playing with the kids, and he's starting to form a relationship with them. Gordon/Fester. He reads to them about scabs. He teaches them how to stab people or where in the jugular. They blow a hole in the ground with dynamite. They're having a grand old time. Gordon's mother then chides him, "You're getting in too deep, Gordon." Especially after he says he wants to go to the kids' school concert instead of helping her kind of try to sneak into the vault.
Right.
Gomez finally comes around, tells Fester he's home, he belongs here, and they start bonding by hitting golf balls into the judge's house. At the kids' school during the concert, Wednesday's teacher shares her concerns with Morticia about
This is a fun
Wednesday.
little scene too.
Yeah. Gomez and Morticia are bored.
Oh my god.
Bored to tears as the other kids perform like your traditional elementary school like little concert. Fester, quote unquote, encourages Pugsley and Wednesday to do the routine that they planned, a bloody sword fight, which is another just fun sequence.
Oh yeah. I love SNL themed blood fountains.
It's just they cut, quote unquote, cut each other with the swords, and it's just blood spraying everywhere.
Yeah, and it's
gallons of it.
It's so much that it's not even offensive anymore. It's just funny.
Yeah, it's like Evil Dead 2-esque.
Yeah.
Now, at the Addamses, Abigail is there looking for Gordon to break into the vault, but he's not there. She tries to break in, but the landscaping ensnares her because everything is alive and whatnot. So, at breakfast the next morning, Fester tells the kids how proud he is of their performance. The psychiatrist walks in and says Fester must go. He's been here too long. He can only be here for a week. That's it.
Yeah.
Gomez and Morticia have planned a farewell party, Oz. Everyone's coming. And Abigail lays into Gordon. She's his family, not them. The party is underway. Everyone's dancing. A snake charmer plays while his cobra dances.
Right. Yeah, he's playing like the saxophone with a snake.
Yeah.
This was a great scene too.
I love some of these the little like cutaway gags, like the snake charmer. It arrives, as you said before. It is there in a car playing Too Legit to Quit by Hammer.
Yeah, MC Hammer did the Addams Family. He did an Addams Family song for this movie, so
that's going to come up later.
Yeah, I left it out. I had a feeling you'd probably take it, so I left it out.
And if you want to, go ahead.
No, I'm good.
It and Margaret end up kind of dancing and forming a little special bond there as well. Wednesday is sent to check on Fester, and she walks in on Abigail shaving Gordon's head while they're monologuing their plan.
Right, yeah. That they're already well aware of because they've been the plan from the start, but we need to talk about it.
Yeah, we need to say this out loud. Yeah. He chases her into the cemetery, doesn't catch her. Back in the dance, the Amor twins, Flora and Fauna, have arrived. Morticia tells them, "How can I compete? You're twice the woman I am." Because they're conjoined twins.
Right.
A bit later, the twins tell Tully that Fester is older and technically owns everything. Tully did not know that. After not finding Wednesday, Fester goes to the dance to keep up the ruse. Gomez says he and Fester will dance the Mamushka. The dance of brotherly love, the Mamushka. And what a dance it is, Oz.
Yeah. It's Polish for Philadelphia.
The dance involves throwing knives at each other, and it's
Oh, it's so much fun though. Fester has a blast.
It continues to woo Margaret, but as you said, Fester has a blast. He doesn't want to leave. Abigail continues guilting Gordon as he had walked into the room singing and dancing at a great time. Tully talks to the judged neighbor and asks if he takes care of the Addams once and for all. The family realizes Wednesday's missing. They split up. To find her, and to do so, they have to go off the property. And when they come back, the place is locked up, Oz.
Yeah.
Because the judge had issued a restraining order that quickly.
Oh yeah.
And has declared that Fester is the owner of the house and the wealth, and that Fester has this restraining order. So they end up going to a motel, Oz.
I know, things in this fits your fish out of water that you love so much.
Yeah, and at this point, there's like 20 minutes left in the film.
Yeah.
So like it really throws them into this quickly. There are a couple fish out of water moments that they're at this standard motel. Gomez is just sunk into a deep depression, Oz. Mm-hmm. He's beside himself, to the point that when he calls Sally Jesse, she knows his voice.
Sally!
I told you, Gomez, you gotta stop calling. Back at the Addams estate, Abigail, Gordon, and Tully cannot get into the vault. They can't because there's so many booby traps. And, and
lots of them.
Mm-hmm. Morticia goes to the estate to try to talk with Fester, but they end up capturing her and tying her up and torturing her, which she kind of delights in.
Yeah, she enjoys it.
Gomez arrives front flipping through the window because it had followed her and had found out what had happened. They get into a big sword fight. Gomez wins, but Abigail ends up holding a gun on him. They give Gomez an hour to get into the vault. Gomez, of course, is turned on by the bound Morticia. Abigail starts laying into Gordon again. "I should have never taken you in." He grabs a book called Hurricane Irene because, Oz, it's been established that whatever the title of the book is, the book itself manifests.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So he opens the Hurricane Irene book, and it literally blows Abigail and Tully out of a window and into graves.
That already have their name on it.
have dug and already have headstones for. A bolt of lightning from the book hits Gordon in the head, and during the epilogue 7 months later, Oz, it turns out that actually was Fester the whole time.
All along.
It was Fester, and that he actually was found in a tuna net 25 years ago in the Bermuda Triangle. As Fester and the kids run off to play Wake the Dead in the cemetery, Oz, Morticia tells Gomez she's pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And that, my friend, is 1991's The Addams Family.
Yay!
What a fun film.
It really is fun.
Yeah. Again, not the greatest of films, but a fun film. So at this point in the show, folks, Oz and I each give our own unique rating to the film we've been yapping about, in this case, The Addams Family. Oz, how would you rate this flick?
I'm going to give it 7 dismembered hands.
7 dismembered hands?
Yeah, 7 things.
7 things, okay.
How about you?
I'm going to go with, 400,000 strands of it hair.
Ooh, Cousin It. Nice.
Me.
Which Tully's wife, like, it falls
immediately understands. Yeah.
Me too. Mm-hmm. I love the bit at the end when Pinderschloss and Tully get thrown into the graves, and then they close, and Pugsley goes, "But aren't they still alive?" And Wednesday just goes, "Does it matter?" It's so dark.
Yeah. Oh, next up, folks, we got Outside Insights. Oz and I have been scouring the interwebs, searching for unprofessional reviews that tickle our funny bone, and we hope they tickle yours as well. Oz, what is your Outside Insight?
I have a 1-star review left June 27th of last year on Letterboxd. It says, "A remake more full of cheese than an American Thanksgiving dish of potatoes au gratin."
I like potatoes au gratin.
I do too. A mean-spirited remake of the knockoff Munsters, who at least were decent people. Here they decided to change from them well-meaning, if gullible rich people, to normal rich people, snobby and able to get away with murder, literally. Speaking of the Munsters, just go watch the show. It's better. I have a feeling I have a feeling this reviewer is not aware that the Addams Family was also a television show. This is just a remake of the knockoff Munsters. Like, no, they, like you said, came out the same year.
I'm going to stick up for the wealthy 1% and go after the Addams Family, because they're too dark and spooky.
Right.
Creepy and kooky.
Exactly. Mysterious and ooky. Yeah, this remake more full of cheese than an American Thanksgiving dish of potatoes au gratin.
Although I don't recognize potatoes au gratin as a Thanksgiving dish.
I don't either, and I don't think it's necessary to establish that it's an American Thanksgiving dish. Like, I think we're the only country with Thanksgiving.
Is au gratin, is that French?
Sure.
Yes.
Yes.
Sure, we'll go with it. I definitively state that au gratin is French.
Yeah. of German descent, it is.
Yeah.
You're closer. See, I'm not of. I think I'm Brit. You're like English descent, I believe. So you might be closer.
I'm 100%. To my knowledge, I'm 100% German.
That's fair enough. So. But that's mine. What do you have for your outside insight?
I have 2 very short outside insights.
Fun.
One is a 1 out of 10, one is a 10 out of 10. They both come from the Internet Movie Database. The 1 out of 10 comes from Helpless Dancer, left in April of 1999. I thought this slop would never end. Who wrote this? I demand to know. This person should be ashamed. What a boring, pathetic mess. Lame jokes, they abounded. Silly dialogue, plenty. This was simply a bad piece of film work. There must be an audience for this drivel, because it seems to be selling. What a world! What a world!
Wicked Witch of the West wrote this one.
Yeah.
What a world!
What a world! What a world! My 10 out of 10, also from the Internet Movie Database, was left by Beamo9 in April 2019. This movie is so well done, it still holds up today. I remember watching this as a kid and rewatching in present time and still enjoying every part. If you don't give this masterpiece a chance,
Ooh.
I guarantee you're missing out on life.
Guarantee it.
I guarantee you're missing out on life, my friend.
Oh my.
You have not lived until you've seen the Addams Family.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, missing out on life.
I'm glad that I've experienced this movie.
Therefore, my bucket list is complete.
Yeah, my life is fulfilled.
Yep. No more existential crisis for me.
No, no more Walden's Pond for
Yeah,
me.
I've seen the Addams Family. Finally, folks, it's that bit you've all been waiting for, our signature segment, the 3-2-1, in which Oz and I each share 3 goods, 2 bads, and 1 about the film in question, in this case, Barry Sonnenfeld's The Addams Family. Oz, what are your 3 goods?
My first good is the dedication to making sure if there's ever a shot of Morticia by herself that they give her eyes soft lighting.
Yes, I love that.
It's very like Hammer horror film-esque on like female vampire. Like I just love it. It's and so that's my first good. My second
and it's I will say, Oz, it's also before the time when you could do that digitally.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
A lot, like if you look closely in a lot of movies from the last like 20 years, like you'll see the like eyes or the area near the eyes are just subtly brighter than like the other facial features, and that's intentional. That's the filmmakers going back and softening that part. Yeah. But they had to do it all practically here.
Oh yeah. So kudos to the dedication because it's effective and it's just fun. My second is Morticia as a preschool teacher.
Yep.
She's telling that story to the kids and they all just start bawling.
Yeah. It's like
slowly.
It's like that scene in what was that Sandra Bullock movie we covered? Where she had to go to the Hope Floats, where she had to go to the jobs the employment agency. It's like Morticia kind of does that. Like she goes to the employment agency and they end up putting her in a preschool.
and she, which is like not. We know it's not a good fit, but she leans into it. But it's fun. So how do the Addamses make their money? I mean, obviously they don't have access to the vault, which is why they're going to get jobs. But how do they get all that money to begin with?
Family wealth. That's what it is.
I guess. Well, I guess when vampires live forever.
Yeah, generational wealth.
You never see a poor vampire. And my third good is I originally had Wednesday and Pugsley's performance on stage, but we covered that on the show. I changed it to the Going Away Party, Fester's Going Away Party. Okay. It's just fun. It's just the sight gags. Even when Wednesday's dancing with that, her cousin with the hump. And just the way he's flinging her around.
Yeah.
but she's so dedicated to the character that she's just straight faced the entire just everything about that whole scene is just fun. Like you finally get to see the Addamses around people similar to themselves.
What was his name? Was it like Cousin Lumpy or something like that?
Something like that. He's got this like eraser head kind of hairdo, and it's just and you've grown. And of course, she's more talking about the size of the hump on his back. But no, it's just really fun scene. That Going Away Party scene was again, like I said, it was fun to see the Addamses surrounded by like-minded, people like themselves. So, what are your 3 goods?
My first good, I'm going to start with an obvious one, and that's Raul Julia and Anjelica Huston. They're so perfect in this movie. They play off each other so well. They are so bought into the characters. Like there's no sense of mailing it in. Like they're both just dialed up to 10.
Oh yeah.
Every moment of this film, and it gives this movie such a charm. These 2 performances, and just how they interact with each other, as we mentioned before, just how the characters constantly flirt with each other. Like he'll start speaking Spanish, she'll start speaking, I think, French, and it's so great. I love those performances and those 2 characters. My second good is it's just a little throwaway bit as Gomez and Fester are descending to the vault. I think Gomez, there's some kind of combination for one of the the locks or one of the things they have to get by, and it's 2, 10, and 11 for the amount of eyes, fingers, and toes.
Eyes, fingers, toes.
2, 10, 11.
Because Fester couldn't remember the last number.
Yeah.
It's eyes, fingers, toes.
So that is my second good, and I'll just say my last good. We'll go back to just the train sequence. I in my notes I called it Gomez's coping train set.
Okay.
Because apparently he only goes to his train set when he's upset, and the family knows this. And again, just all the bits that you mentioned before, like the little person in there. They never explain like how physics work with it. Because it's like two actual trains, but it's a model.
Yeah.
It's shaking the whole house. There's the guy inside. Does this exist in its own physical realm?
Even at one point, Wednesday goes, "He's got the diesel."
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I'll go with the train bit for my third good. Oz, what are your two bads?
Well, just one more comment.
Oh, sure.
I love that Raul Julia played this the way he wanted to play it.
Yeah.
I've seen a few episodes of the show, and John Astin as Gomez Addams. Like I was just reading as you were talking, like he even based his Gomez Addams on like Groucho Marx. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of I feel like there's a lot of Bugs Bunny in the original Gomez Addams, which Raul Julia doesn't play that way. Like he plays it like I'm Raul Julia. I'm going to do it this way. And so, I really respect that decision too. Of like they're not trying to go like beat for beat. We have to make these characters the same. Outside of we just need to make sure they look the same. But we'll
it's not an imitation. It's an escalation.
Yeah, and so I really enjoy that because I think in the '60s you could base it on Groucho Marx and people would still get it. Mm-hmm. But like in the ’90s, I don't think there's enough people familiar with Groucho Marx to really. I think it would have been irritating to some people. These constant quips, stuff like that really would have worn out real quick. So, my two bads, really, pretty much all the non-Addams characters, in the movie. Dan Hedaya does a fine job. But even he's just there, and so pretty. Some of the interactions were fun. Some of them were just a little ham-handed,
mustache twiddling.
It's like the Addamses. Yes, technically they're bad people but they really keep to themselves outside of Gomez constantly taunting the judge with golf balls. But really, we see them keep to themselves. And so to see quote unquote normal people, chasing after their wealth, like trying to paint the Addamses as bad people. It's like, no, everybody else is the bad people. And so the non-Addams characters are my first bad. My second one is, we talked again the plot's just super thin. We need an hour and a half showcase of the Addams family. Mm-hmm. But we got to give them something to do.
Sure.
So here you go.
It's similar to last week's The Brady Bunch movie, where it's about the Bradys. It's in the title,
right?
And it's like, okay, we're going to slap something together for them to do some kind of through line,
right? And they had a feeling there was a sequel coming, because with Morticia being pregnant, which is no shock considering these two were all over each other in the entire movie.
Well, just like Mike and Carol from Brady
exactly. The only difference is this one actually culminated in a pregnancy.
Yeah, they're not interrupted.
Right. They could have been interrupted. They just didn't stop.
Yeah, they wouldn't have cared.
Right. But it's like, the Addams Family values. That movie holds up. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
No, it's got Joan Cusack in it.
Yeah, it's got Joan
just
Cusack.
About anything with Joan Cusack is great.
And,
I remember the villains in that being better than the villains in this.
Yeah,
one.
and it's even more fish out of water as they send the kids off to camp.
Yeah.
And so and they've got the baby, but it is fun. They bring everybody back too. Carol Kane is in the movie. I think where'd Carol Kane? Yeah, she took over as grandma. Carol Kane did. And so it's just a fun movie overall. So
Joan Cusack seducing Fester.
Exactly. So those are my two.
My two bads, as we mentioned before, MC Hammer was commissioned to write a song for this movie, and MC Hammer was never very talented. He just kind of
No.
stumbled into a couple of popular songs, and
He was a good
yeah,
bat boy for the Oakland A's.
yeah, it was. He was a great bat boy. You know, put those
Mhm.
dancing skills to use there. Legitimate good dancer, but
Yeah,
not
yeah.
not
Well, that's what they,
exactly a musician.
that is kind of the, long held secret that I know about. I don't know if you do, but becoming a bat boy in Major League Baseball is a gateway to hip hop.
Yeah, it is. There's a direct through line that Jay Z started off as a bat boy.
Yep, yep.
Hmm.
Donald Glover,
He was a bat
Lil
boy.
Wayne. Lil Wayne
Bat
was a
boy.
bat boy for the Atlanta Braves baseball team.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Long line of bat boys turned rappers,
yeah,
successful
yeah.
rappers.
Too
So, yeah,
short.
so- too short. So yeah, for the first bad MC Hammer songs, we can keep going with this, but like yeah,
That's why I
we're
stopped.
just,
Now
just,
we're-
just
we're-
naming rappers for the next half an hour. Too short. Sean Paul.
That's right.
Yeah.
Trench from Naughty by Nature.
Yep. My second bad is the stereotype of German psychiatrists. They're all Freud. They all use Freudian
All of
terms,
them.
So they all do.
All of them.
And it extends to like any mental health clinician. You know, they all are Freudian followers. They all speak like Freud. They all use Freudian terms.
Well,
and
it's
it just bothers me.
Yeah, it's lazy writing. It's like psychiatrists. Oh, Freud. Oh, well, everybody knows Freud, so let's make it a Freud.
Everything is psychoanalytic. Yeah.
Because I remember how excited. Excited is probably an understatement. How excited you got in Batman Begins when they referenced Jungian blah blah blah.
Yeah.
When
Like, somebody
Cillian
someone who's not Freud.
Exactly. I remember that conversation. We'd watched it, and he did like Cillian Murphy, Scarecrow made a reference to, Jungian philosophies or whatever. I don't remember exactly, but you were like Carl Jung, like you were like, wow, everything's not phallic. That's
Carl Jung, also a bat boy.
yeah.
Yeah. Seattle Mariners, I think.
No, he was Toronto Blue Jays. He wasn't American.
Yeah.
That's why he went. There's no hip hop in the and there wasn't as much
that's-
hip hop in the industry in Canada, so he had to
It's
go
two
another
lines.
route.
You either go into psychology or hip hop. Those are the
That's
two
right.
through lines.
Yeah, I don't
from
remember.
being a
He
bat
was
boy.
either Montreal Expos or the Toronto Blue Jays, but either way,
I think it was Montreal because the silent J in Young.
that's true.
Yes, yeah.
That's true.
My second bad is wait no, those were my two bads.
Yep.
Yeah, those were my two bads.
That was it.
So yeah, we had MC Hammer and the stereotype of German psychiatrist. So hey Oz, what's your one for the Addams Family?
Have the Addamses ever been arrested? It seems like the only relationship he has with the judge is just being neighbors. But come on, let's not kid ourselves. Like, as fun-loving as a family they are for us to watch, the first thing we see them do is dump like boiling water or something on top of a bunch of Christmas carolers. Like, there's no way this family is getting away with a fraction of the things they are in this movie without the law being involved at some point. So it's just my Hans. It's like
I'm guessing their property is kind of like the Reedy Conservation Area down in Florida, where it's like the
exactly.
Disney property. Like
This isn't your jurisdiction.
Yeah.
It's like the Addamses is like the Vatican. Like, nope,
Yeah.
this is our own little country.
Yeah, their
This
own
is ours.
country. It's like 0.16 by like 0.2 miles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like how are the police not getting involved with any of the stuff? So that's my I mean, it's whatever, thinly veiled, but
Sure.
it's like a lot of things going on here with no police involvement. So, what about you? What do you got?
Oh god, I got several options here. Let's go with near the end when Morticia goes back to confront Fester about what's going on. She just walks right up to the door. Whereas previously, when they went out to look for Wednesday, they got stopped at the gate. So how did Morticia get to the door?
maybe they took the chains down because the message was sent. I don't know. Maybe she vamped out and just flew over the gate as a bat.
Several of my other possible Hus we already talked about, so I didn't want to double use them. Like how does Gordon so quickly convince everyone he's Fester? How does Margaret understand it? Why MC Hammer? And the passenger on Gomez's train were all possible Hus.
Fair enough.
So yeah,
well,
how did she get past the gate? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. Maybe, I'm sure there's got to be another way into the Addams estate.
Yeah, also involves a moat.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there is.
And a gondola.
Yeah. Right. She put the hat on and sang her way
She had to
across.
put the hat on, yeah.
Boat doesn't work if you don't have the hat on.
If you don't have the gondola hat.
Oh. Well, that wraps up July. That wraps up good movies based on TV shows.
And Oz, you and I both work in school, so the beginning of the school year is ticking away, my friend.
We are returning to school next month. Mm-hmm. About 3 weeks. We go, like 3 weeks from today I go back. Mm-hmm. And you return next week, right?
Yeah, I see what you're doing there too, Oz. We're returning to school.
We are going to shift our theme for August to return movies.
Mm-hmm. What by say does that mean, Oz?
This constitutes every movie covered this 5-week month. We got
5-weeker.
Another 5-weeker. Every movie this month must have the word return in the title.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see. You just made a change as well.
I'm not sold on that change just yet.
Okay.
I'm not. I that's my wild card through the month. I can't decide.
Got it.
So that one's I'm not sure yet.
Mm-hmm.
But we are going to kick off next month, and their new theme with easily one of my favorite horror films.
One of your probably top 5 favorites,
if not just one of my favorite films in general. Yeah. Something we covered somewhat recently on my other podcast,
and you had a great time with it.
Which is fine because I'm going to watch it again. Like even my wife was like, "What are you guys doing next
excuse to watch
month?"
this movie.
Yeah, not that I need an excuse to watch a movie, but yeah, this one. We're going to be covering one of the unofficial sequels to Night of the Living Dead. We're going to be covering Return of the Living Dead.
Oh, what a great movie!
Oh, I love this movie so much.
Great!
It's so much fun. It hurts.
I love the I'm jumping ahead. I love the performance by the guy who played Frank. He's just wailing. Oh,
just the attention to even medical detail in this movie is really impressive. Return of the Living Dead, just kind of quick. John Russo helped George Romero make Night of the Living Dead, and when they split up. They each owned part of the rights. And so the way the story goes is they no longer really wanted to continue making these movies together because they had their own good ideas. And so how they agreed to it was Romero could go off and make his movies and he got to continue making them based on time of day. Night of the Living Dead, and then Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead. Whereas Russo got to continue making his movies, but he got the Living Dead part. Which is why Night of the Living Dead has both the day reference, like the time of day reference and the word living, and then it splits. Romero doesn't get to use living anymore, and Russo doesn't get to use the time of day frame. So that was kind of their amicable split so that people didn't confuse the two of them. But yet they both reference that original subject material, which is what makes it fun because you almost see like two splintered routes of sequels. Romero has made several sequels. There are several Return of the Living Dead sequels as well, and they all kind of follow in that storyline. So we're going to be watching Return of the Living Dead next week, a movie that could only be made in the 80s. Like this, this 1968 was the original, so we're looking at 16, I think like 16. I don't remember exactly what year it was, but it was sometime.
I want to say 85. I think 85
yeah, I was thinking like 85 as well. So you're looking like 17 years later. But man, they harnessed every power they could of the 80s for this movie. It's got an awesome soundtrack. It's it's got movie punks. It's as vastly different of what Romero's zombies are. So they really do split here. But I love this movie. I'm so excited.
This whole month coming up, we got a wide variety of genres that we're hitting.
We really do.
We got horror. We potentially got sci-fi. We got fantasy. We've got martial arts. Yeah. So we're really spraying all fields here with
we really are
movies. Yeah.
So but excited, definitely excited. So for this whole month, like I said, the reason I keep flip-flopping on my second pick is because the other four are so solid. I'm like, I don't want a dud. I don't want to lay a dud down there somewhere. I have changed it twice.
Okay.
You see this one, but I've changed it once from the original one, and I don't know. We'll figure it out. So
we'll get there.
But yeah, Return of the Living Dead for next week as we are kicking off our return to school month, I guess.
Yes.
We've got like Peoria Public Schools. They start back August 2nd.
When?
August 2nd.
Kids start back then?
Yep. Kids start back August 2nd. They didn't get out till like June 5th or something like that.
Oh wow, that's okay.
Yeah, they changed to an extended school year. So they're doing, it's not year round, but they modified it to an extended school year. I'm not really sure why. It wouldn't surprise me just to help keep some of these kids off the streets a little bit over the summer, but it is what it is. But yeah, Return of the Living Dead next week. Social media wise, you guys know where to find us. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. There is a link to Patreon down below. So if you're listening to Lyle, just click that link and it will take you through where you need to go. If not, I'm sure someone on the show that can walk you through if that's what you're wanting to do. We need to get some back catalog episodes recorded too.
We do,
It's been a little bit. We're going to start losing Patreon subscribers.
Uh-oh.
That's the only reason. It's the only reason they subscribe.
Only reason
is for the behind the paywall episodes. But I don't have anything else. You got anything else to send off with?
No, it's been a great month, and I look forward to our return month in August.
The rest of the year looks solid.
Yeah.
I'm like, about that time we got to start shaping up 2024.
I know, right? We got a lot of options down there.
Yeah, by the way, we just finished episode 91. So
on the road to 90,000.
Yeah, that's right. We are closing in on magic number 100. And from what I've heard in the podcast community, that's when the magic happens.
Yep.
Once you get through those first 2 years of episodes, then it's like Field of Dreams out there.
That's when the money starts rolling in.
That's right. Right. People are going to start wanting, we're going to start getting companies like, hey, will you start advertising for our mattresses?
Yeah. It's almost President's Day. We need somebody to sell mattresses for us.
Yeah, that's coming soon. We'll get those affiliate ads going to where I've always felt bad, because Conan needs a friend. It's part of the gig. I get that, but I always feel bad when you're listening to a podcast of somebody with clout like Conan, who's got more money than he'll ever need, and then they got to take a break for him to read a mattress ad.
Although I do like how Conan does it. There's still a bit to it.
Oh yeah, they have fun with it for sure, and I'm glad that they get that leeway because it just feels weird. On our way down to on our way to vacation, we listened to one episode of the Office Ladies podcast with Angela Kinsey and Jenna Fisher. And same thing, they're rejoicing and having a great time and talking about all these memories and having so much fun, and then they break to read an ad for Chipotle or something. And it's it just feels like no one's above capitalism. But we get to have a show and we don't advertise anything. So This show is not brought to you by Mentos, the fresh maker. Oh, but no, that wraps up episode 91.
Mm-hmm.
Wraps up our 2-month block on movies based on TV shows. And we got 5 more months this year with some good titles coming, folks.
Yep, keep
Real
tuning
good
in.
titles. Yeah, sure. So for another episode of Let's Talk About Flicks, I'm Oz.
I'm Curtis.
And we'll see you guys next week.